A massive fire killed dozens of people in the border town of Juarez, right across from El Paso, Texas. Why? Let's talk to the expert who lives down on the border, Oscar Blue. Oscar, thanks for joining me.
It's an honor to be with you, Mr. Holton. It's always an honor to just talk to you.
All right. Well, my viewers need to know who Oscar Blue is. Now, Oscar is a freelance journalist, lives down along the border in Mexico, and has done some pretty amazing things. Just a couple months ago, actually walked through the Darien Gap from end to end, just like the migrants do. That's something not very many people have accomplished, and it was quite a feat. I was pretty impressed by that. And you had some pretty amazing adventures along the way, didn't you?
Yes, we have been reporting on the northern borders and also on the south borders of Mexico. We have walked with 9 caravans in the south border of Tapachula, reported also in Guatemala and Central America. And as you said, we just walked the Darien Gap. It took us 4 days, 3 days on foot, and 1 day on piragua. So it was quite an accomplishment. But yes.
Yeah. And have you recovered okay since then? I mean, you were pretty beat when you came out of this.
Oh, yes. It was the hardest thing that I ever done in my life. It took me a couple of days to recover. Psychologically, it's just a really shocking and an impact that you take home. It is just unbelievable what these people go through and what they're pushed, this place to go through. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, the Biden administration's policies pulling them up to our border. I mean, they have to cross 10 countries, most of them or more, to get to the United States. Any one of those countries they could make a nice life in, but they choose to keep going to the United States because of the pull factors, as you and I both know. And we've both done a lot of reporting on that. But I want to talk right now about that fire that just happened in Juarez, Mexico. What a horrific tragedy. Can you just explain what happened?
So what has been happening in Juarez has been a nonstop of radical events. Around a month and a half ago, they tried to rush the border, around 2,500 migrants. The majority of them flowed from Central and South America, but the majority were from Venezuela. And after that, it was just the international immigration is trying to contain them, is trying to detain as much as they can. The ones that they're radical, the ones that they are in downtown Juarez, asking for money, incentivizing violence. Also, in some events, they have been harassing the women, harassing the vendors, harassing the merchants. Those are the kind of the people have been complaining about those a lot. So what happened, it was a couple of days ago, the international immigration did a raid. They picked up around 79 people. These 79 people, there were those, apparently the citizens were complaining a lot about these people, that they were harassing the citizens in downtown Juarez. They took them into the international immigration offices. It is kind of like a holding center, but it has cells inside these holding centers. They were put there for a little while after they were asking, what are you going to do with us? Apparently, the explanation is that one of the workers, one of the officers said to them, "You're going to be deported back. You're going to be returned back." So after that, inside these holding cells, they have these little mattresses like prison cells. And ultimately, you can see in a really viral video that has been going on right now all across the world that they throw the mattresses in front of the cells and they light them on fire. The question right here is that a lot of the people, they have been asking if they have been quietly searched and how they got, matches or some kind of how they started this fire with the mattresses. So after they started the fire, they couldn't contain the fire. You can see in a video 2 officials from Mexico just practically knowing that they're burning in there, and they just left the scene, and they just left them there to be, intoxicated with the fumes and also to be burned. The tragedy was horrible. It ended up with 39 casualties. The majority of them are from Guatemala. You got people also from Honduras, people from El Salvador, and people from Venezuela. Ultimately, you have a lot of people that they suffered burning on the whole bodies, and the psychological damage that the NGOs came immediately from the United States and took them all across to the border of El Paso. A lot of these people that they survived the fire, they already received direct political asylum into the threat that they don't want to be in Mexico right now. So the Mexican president spoke, Chuck, and the Mexican president, apparently what he said is he explained the migrants, after they knew that they were going to be deported and returned back, they started a riot. It couldn't contain, and the officers, try to do the best that they can, but they failed. After that, the video that I'm talking to you about came out. It is a video that shows that the migrants are in the holding cells and they're actually getting burned, but the officers are not doing anything about it. And right now in Congress, the left political party and the right political party, they're demanding that there should be some clearance of what happened in this specific tragedy that happened in Juarez right now.
Well, so what are people in Mexico saying about that? Are they just kind of like, well, they started the fire themselves, it's their own problem, or are they angry at the Mexican government for not doing so?
Well, kind of like the both. First of all, they're upset because the Mexican government has been completely incompetent to control the mass migration in the country. So they know that there's a problem. They know that there's also the human factor, but they know that there's a problem. So if they're admitting this and they're allowing this to come all the way to the northern borders, they're asking what the hell is going on all the way down to the south? Why you cannot contain? Why you don't put a filter? Why you're letting some kind of radical people enter the country, and then this kind of catastrophe happens? And on the other side, it is the human side that a lot of the Mexicans are saying, well, nobody deserves to die like that. Whether you burn a fire or not, you could just at least open the door, let them out, and then arrest them outside of the building and hold them there after they already been processed. So it's kind of like both, but I believe that the Mexican people are extremely upset of the Mexican government, of their incompetence not to handle mass migration. Also has to do a lot with the cartel, the trafficking of people, and also all this kind of stuff, that it has been relentless through the south and to the northern borders.
Amazing. I've just recently heard from a Venezuelan guy that I met as soon as he crossed from Cucuta into Colombia. And he's a former Venezuelan soldier. He had actually participated in some of the missions attempting to overthrow the government there. Wow. And was captured, shot in the leg, was held in a military hospital as a prisoner until he recovered, and he actually made a daring escape out the window, just like a movie, with by tying the sheets together and rappelling out the window, and then got out of the country, went down to Ecuador, and started calling me and saying, hey, we want to go up to the United States. And I kept saying, don't do it. And they decided to go for it anyway. They walked through the Darien Gap and kept calling me, asking for money, asking for help. And I'm not going to help anybody get to the United States. So I said, sorry, man, if you're going to the U.S., I can't help you. And so he was in that area. I haven't heard if he was in there, if he was one of those that perished, but I'm hoping to get a hold of him and find out if he's okay. I just wonder, the left is going to make this out to be the fault of the Republicans for not just letting people in. What's your sense when it comes to what's your feeling about that after having traveled with all these guys in the migrant caravans, having been through the Darien Gap? What's your feeling?
They're already doing it. They're blaming the Trump policies. They're blaming the Republicans for Title 42, although it has been a contingency of the Biden administration that has been doing that. They're already doing it. They're already flipping it around. But we're over here in Mexico. We are tired of these activists that they're coming over here, and they're trying to bring their politics and their progressive liberal politics into what is a crisis that has been provoked and incentivized by the Biden administration. Nobody else is in government by them. They're already trying to do this. And actually, the collateral effect that is going to happen is going to be extremely important. What is the Mexican government going to do now? Because if there's already 3 officials that they are thoroughly investigated right now because they are directing that they did it on purpose to let them there to be intoxicated. But one of the things is to clearly know what is going to happen after this, because already you have a lot of NGOs in Juarez from the United States. You have the Department of Human Rights from both sides, from the United States and Mexico. You have now the United Nations in there. You have, now they have the Congress people from El Paso that they are completely leftist and Democrat pushing to the government of Mexico to do something about it. So now you have this mixture of politics that is getting involved, and they're going to push the president to possibly, bend the knee and say, let's main to this current situation. And also just
Gotta let him in.
and absolutely, just now, Mr. Holton, just happened right now in Tapachula. They're rioting at another detention center that is called Siglo XXI, 21st Century. I don't know if you already know which one it is. So right now, apparently, a bus was coming in into this center, and they don't want to go in. So this is the effect that it's going to have. Now they are the migrants are going to demand that they don't want to be processed, and they just want to be let go. So it is just completely, it's just going to push to lawlessness.
I think it's just another example of the danger of making this trek. This trek is not easy. It's not safe. They recently had 40 migrants killed here in Panama when a bus rolled over, taking them up to the Costa Rican border. The worst road accident in Panama's history took place because of these migrants. Somebody told me the other day they saw a train of Greyhound buses, at least a dozen of them, full of migrants heading up there. They've had migrants riot in the camps here in Panama as well. And, all along the way, these people are a danger to themselves because they expect to be, allowed to make their way north. They expect to be fed. They expect to be housed. They get very angry if they don't have pillows and hot showers and things like that. I've interviewed them along the way. And again, all of this is due to the pull factor of people in the United States saying, now is the time to come. And so if we were to address that pull factor, it would probably make a big difference. Whenever we have addressed it, whenever any country along the way has addressed the pull factor, it has reduced the flow to a trickle. And that's really what needs to be done. So I appreciate your view on this, being right there on the ground, and hearing from the migrants, talking to them every day. I hope that we can get together and travel again soon, because there's a lot more to be told about this story, and it's a story that definitely needs to be told because the mainstream media is all but ignoring it. So thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation, Mr. Chuck Holton, and it's always an honor to be with you and talking to you. And just we need to get right to the root of the problem. And when, a lot of the root of the problem is the Biden administration and also Alejandro Mayorkas, complete incompetence to address this issue an immediate factor.
No question. All right. Good talking to you. Folks, you can follow Oscar Blue. Tell us where we can find it.
OscarBlueRamirez.com, and also, Real America's Voice. But Oscar Blue Ramirez at YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all social media, Oscar Blue Ramirez.
Yep, he's got a lot of good stuff on there. Go check out his stuff from the trip, his trip north through the Darien Gap. Unbelievable story, and I highly recommend it. So thanks again. You can follow me at chuckholton.locals.com. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much. We'll see you.